let's say you found a skeleton. How would you tell if it's a dinosaur? You personally, how would you decide?
Well, interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on that.
Hello everyone, welcome to Tisdall Tuesday. I'm here as usual with Chesh. Chesh, how you doing?
Exactly. I'm here on my 4th live stream today.
Jeez, why do you do this to yourself?
I'm amazing.
Okay, I mean fair enough, right?
Let's go.
Before we get going, Joran Dax for $5 says, Saihuasainads Bewandas Kaljan Samana Sakos Namasai Sijai AIG, and I'm at a loss as to.
And bag of dicks.
Yeah, well, and there's a bag of dicks emoji. I mean, it's obviously AIG is a bag of dicks, but like, I don't even know what language we're doing here.
First off, fantastic alliteration. Second off, I'm glad Dapper tried to read it and you didn't make me try to read it.
Well, it's not Klingon. Yeah, super chat in Klingon, and I'll try to get Chesh to read it.
No!
Too late, I already said it.
You are mean!
In the words of Yul Brenner, so let it be written, so let it be done. What? I like that movie.
It's a great movie.
It's a very long movie, but yes, it is a great movie. And Yul Brenner does a great
watch
job.
It every Easter.
Really? That's appropriate.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah. So, Chesh, last time, we finished the Lawrence Tisdall talk. We found his balls. The balls have been located.
The balls have been returned.
Yep, one of them bounced, the other one did not.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, you know, good to know, I guess. Because we were all very curious about Lawrence Tisdall's bouncing balls. Yeah.
It's very important.
It was. So, but now we're on to session 2. So this is a brand new video. I don't have any recap from last time. I don't have anything like, well, when last we left off. Nope. But also, what are you drinking there, Chesh?
I made a milkshake with vanilla ice cream, frozen mixed berries, and gin.
Nice. I am drinking a mango apple cider. It is a little bit on the sweet side for me, but not too much. I'm actually pretty pleased with it.
The arc of the missing balls.
I know. Zerolon, who's been a member for 26 months, says, Dapper time, AIG also is missing balls. They are. And you know what? I'll take a drink because I'm thirsty, and this is tart, and I like tart drinks.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, before we jump into this, though, we will go over the drinking. Nice. Oh, wait. Ashley Loves High, who's been a member for 10 months, is at the Techprod level, says, Hismunya it trends from communication. Well, not being one of those, I do not fully understand, but I appreciate that. Thank you very much. There we go. Oh, and also the Emperor protects Ashley. Ashley's one of my 40k video gaming buddies.
Yeah, Ashley's cool.
Yeah. So
Ashley made a really cool video that I watched earlier today. Very funny. I guess there's a streamer that she watches that used to live near a train, and the train would interrupt the stream, so she super cut a bunch of the train interrupting together.
Nice. Also, drink for Mothra.
Hey, yeah. Atomic Squirrel also says gin. That seems a little odd, but I used to be very fond of gin. I was gonna go get beer today before my drinking or before
the weather
my
scared
cooking
you.
stream. And it started hailing, and then it stopped hailing, then it started hailing, then it stopped hailing, then it started hailing. And I was just like, maybe I just don't. And gin was what I had access to.
See,
surprisingly, no, I wouldn't have normally thought to put gin in something like this, but
it worked.
It worked.
Oh.
Comes out pretty good.
Ashley also says that that's an AIG's a bag of dicks communication there. So we'll take a drink. Thank you very much. See, I say this is just when you get a steel umbrella. Because nothing says you need to, reject the weakness of the flesh and embrace the cold certainty of steel, like being scared of the weather and needing a steel umbrella. So
I just didn't want to get hailed on, man.
That's what the steel umbrella is for. The umbrella gets hailed on and you don't.
How heavy would a steel umbrella be?
Well, I mean, so the shaft can be titanium, and then
Okay.
the pedals themselves are only like a quarter-inch thick. So like not even a
Oh my God.
centimeter.
Yeah, it'd be like, what, 10 pounds?
Something like that. Yeah, you could do it.
I could do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do 10 pounds and stock up on beer walking, but I could definitely get like a 12 pack. That'd be fine.
See? You know, I mean, like, for just this show, you don't need to stock. You're not even going to drink 12 beers on this show. Come on. Unless the audience decides to get super generous, super fast.
I'll prep for that one day.
All right, guys. One of these days, we got to get enough gifted super chats that we
In this economy?
that we make not gifted super chats, gifted memberships. We make Chesh drink all 12 beers. Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says, "You make to weep the room." Pedro Carolino in words more compelling than anything Tisdall is likely to say. Well, it's a low bar to say, you know, more compelling than anything Tisdall is going to say, but that's okay. Speaking of...
I don't know, I was compelled to anger when he quoted
fair, yeah.
those test questions
That was
as if they were
that were supposed to be
compelled
false.
to throw a brick.
Yeah, that was amazingly dishonest, honestly. Like just...
Oh,
I was floored when I realized what the heck was going on.
oh, we were both flabbergasted.
It
Had
was-
we been in the room together, we both would have stopped, looked at each other, and just been like, what the fuck?
Yep, that's exactly what would have happened. That's what we got to do. Start a GoFundMe to get a Tisdall Tuesday on location. We're both in the same room.
Yes, you have to come here, though. I can't go there.
Yeah, no, obviously.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Matt Navigator for $5 says, "You want Chesh to carry a 10-pound umbrella? She weighs like 12 pounds. Yeah, it's a good workout. She'll be like an ant. Look, she's like an ant. You know how smaller animals can carry more relative to their body weight than larger animals? Like, sure, an elephant can carry a tree trunk, but that thing weighs a tiny fraction of what the elephant weighs. But an ant can pick up a bug that weighs like 50 times what it weighs. Chesh has got that thing going.
I need to get like an actual proper workout machine if I'm gonna try to start lifting weights that are more than my total weight, which I might be able to get pretty close to, at least with my legs.
Okay.
But I have to get like a Bowflex or something, like something big.
And then your OnlyFans can be about thigh crushing. Watermelons.
Oh yeah,
There you go.
that'd be great.
You would almost certainly get people subscribing to that.
We can do GoFundMe for that.
What would the funds go towards? The watermelons?
The watermelons and the workout machine.
Oh, the workout machine. Okay, there we go. That makes more sense.
Just watermelons. Just give me all the watermelons.
She's like, I need $500 for watermelons to crush with my legs.
I need $50,000 for watermelons. I'm gonna start crushing cabbages.
Ooh, that's nice. You could do an Avatar tie-in. Every time you do it, the sound clip plays.
Yeah.
My
I can
cabbages!
dress up. I can get a costume of slutty cabbage man.
Oh, no.
He's still with all the facial hair that he's got, though.
Obviously, yes. Normandy Foxtrot, who's been a member for 26 months and is at the Amniote level, says, "Oh, I forgot this last time. I wasn't here. AIG is a perfidious package of pickled phallus." And then
Ooh, pickles!
with a then there's a Godzilla. DHS must be abolished. I mean, I'm okay with DHS being abolished. My demands are a little bit more modest, but yeah, DHS doesn't need to exist. It didn't exist for a long time.
I took a drink from Mothra.
That's fair. Let's see. Jillian Wren, who's been a member for 23 months, says, "Why do I think this is more fun and less stressful than the research I'm supposed to be doing? Because Chesh and I are awesome, obviously. But then there's a Mothra, so we'll take a drink for that Mothra." How old are you? That's before your time, isn't it? I thought you were only 16.
Yeah, 17.
Oh, 17. All right, 17. There we go. That fixes the you doing dance moves from the 1960s thing. Let's see. Lieutenant Mathematics for $5 says, "Integrity as she is spoke or a jest in bad faith." Lawrence Tisdall. Nice. Yes, that relates to our poll. So we have two things going on right now. We have a super chat goal and we have a poll. So one aspect of the super chat goal is that I will unleash Chesh and I will no longer be testy if she drops F-bombs. Right.
He does get testy.
I do. She
He's a
hears
little
about
cranky.
it. She hears about it after the fact.
I get scolded.
You do, yeah. But also, there are a few things. So there are 3 things that you could vote for as additional things that will happen. One is I will wear a suit next time on Saturday. So I'll show up Saturday and I'll be in my little gray suit. Then we have the other option, or another option is a reading from English as She Is Spoke. Which, Chesh, do you know what English as She Is Spoke is?
No.
So imagine a man in the early 1800s living in Brazil. And he decides, you know what? People like learning about English because there's a lot of like British and American tourists, and both of those places are like America's a big trade partner for Brazil. You know, we trade textiles and agricultural products and whatnot.
Okay. All right, I'm following.
But I myself, as this guy who notices this need, only speak Portuguese and French.
Okay.
So my solution is I'm going to buy myself a Portuguese to French phrasebook and a French to English dictionary. And then I, without any actual knowledge of English, will simply take the French phrases, look up what each word means individually in a French dictionary, and then copy that into my phrasebook.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so that is... I have a copy of this, in fact, in my hands right now.
Perfect.
Yes. He's literally doing the whole, like, hey, translate this between English and Japanese 5 times on Google Translate and just paste whatever comes out.
I hate you!
He's just doing that, but in the 1800s. So, yeah, that's one. And then the other one is, of course, I will explain why I'm not a linguist. Now, the second 2, we're not going to take up, like, the entire rest of the stream when we get that, if that's the case, unless it's late into the stream. My guess is we'll do, like, 10, 15 minutes or so of nonsense there. Which means, now here we are 12 minutes in, and it's about time to go through the drinking rules, because this is a drinking stream. That's why I have some cider here. Why Chesh has her strange milkshake. Yeah.
In my fancy blue goblet. Ooh.
Full of mana.
I don't know if George did that on purpose and knows the reference I made or not. George, if you got that, we're best friends forever. If you didn't get it, it's okay. We're still cool.
Becca Justiniano, who's been a member for 26 months and is at the Tetrapod level, says, melt the frozen idiots with a IIG and a Mothra. We'll take a drink for that. Thank you. I think what I'm getting here is that the audience wants to see us. They don't so much care about Lawrence Tisdall because they keep making sure that we don't talk about it.
Yeah, they just want to hang out with us.
Yeah, and you know what? That's fair. That is fair.
I respect that.
Well, as one of the people who wants to be hung out with, yeah, I do appreciate that. I'm getting all the attention I never got in high school.
Oh, don't. Loser.
Yes, that was in fact the joke, Chesh. Thank you.
Don't be a loser about it now.
It's called self-deprecating humor, Chesh. Read a book.
Okay. Sure.
Sure. I mean, it is a thing. Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5
but
says...
yeah, it is definitely what you were doing.
Yeah.
You definitely weren't just being a loser.
Like, honestly, my high school was fine. It was fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't
now
terrible.
he's explaining himself.
Oh, I don't know. Although, I do remember being, like, harassed into going to one of the girls' soccer games. Because one of my friends was the captain of the team, and she's like, how come you never go watch me play? I was like, because I don't care about soccer. And she was like, that's not good enough. I'm like, I feel like it is, but okay. Let's see. Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says, just imagine a Brazilian man with the sheer effing gall of a young Earth creationist apologist. Yeah, that is basically the author of English as She Is Spoke.
Wonderful.
Yeah, at one point when talking about shellfish, one of the listed examples is hedgehog.
Oh.
And the reason for this is because the French use the same word for hedgehogs as for sea urchins. And so he looked up a word that in the French phrasebook means sea urchin, but the first definition that he saw was hedgehog. And so he just went with it because he doesn't know English. So he doesn't know that that word maps onto 2 very different words in English and that those are not the same thing in English.
I mean, yeah, they're both spiky, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense why you would use the same word. But, yeah, so let's see. Drinking rules. So the first thing I want to say is if you decide to play along with alcohol, please know your limits, pace yourself, don't drink to excess, and if you do play along and you get inebriated, do not then go out and drive a car, fly an aircraft, operate heavy machinery, or text your ex. These are all bad ideas. In fact, equally bad ideas. Don't do it. If you decide to do anything and cause damage to yourself, grievous bodily injury to anyone else, or to property, we here at the Dapper Dinosaur channel, including Chesh, do not take responsibility or liability. You have been warned. This is a play at your own risk. That being said, if you want to play along but you don't want to use alcohol, that's absolutely fine. You want to take a hit from a vape pen, you want to eat a chip, maybe even a hot chip?
I'm gonna take a chip and I'm gonna eat it!
Exactly. You want to high-five someone you're sitting next to? I don't know, you want to pet the dog? Like, whatever, man, it's fine.
You wanna boop the snoot?
Yeah, boop the snoot.
Boop that snoot.
All of those are fine. This is just a for fun thing, and I recognize that not everyone wants to drink alcohol, and that's perfectly fine. Please don't if you don't want to. That doesn't mean that you don't have to participate. You certainly can, and if you just don't want to participate at all, also fine. This is just to make it a little bit more fun for those who want to play, and also so that you can, make sure that I get sloshed by the end of it, so that I have to try to watch Godzilla afterwards while I'm, recovering from this. But there's that. Lieutenant Math Navigator for $2 says the French for hedgehog is spiky boy or bois, spiky bois, which spelled spiky boys. Yeah.
Bois.
By the way, if you want to have a fun time, go to Google Translate and go from English to German. And I believe the phrase you want to put in there is birth control pill. And you should get back anti-baby pillen. Which is just like German is fake. No one can convince me that's a real language. No, stop it.
Wonderful.
So let's see. As for the rules, so I'll try to rush through these because we've been already on this for a while. We will take a drink any time, as you guys have seen. Anyone super chats, membership, milestone chats, anything to the effect that AIG, that's Answers in Genesis, are a bag of dicks, or if they super chat or membership, milestone chat, any of our 3 kaiju emojis, which includes Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah. We will also take a drink, as you've seen, if Mothra comes by audibly, or if Godzilla comes by audibly, which can also happen. We'll also take a drink if Lawrence Tisdall says something that's so stupid we just kind of have to cool our brains down. Got brain cooling going. We will also take a drink if Lawrence Tisdall actually gets something right, that's factually accurate, and it comes directly out of his brain. Take a drink for that. We'll also take a drink if Lawrence Tisdall tells a joke that does not land, or tells a story that didn't happen. Now that's a bit of a judgment call. We have to, use our own minds to decide whether or not that story seems plausible. And if it doesn't, we take a drink. And if we get it wrong, I don't care because this is all just for fun. None of this matters. I'm getting a little bit of feedback from you there, Chesh. I don't know what happened there. Let's see. We will also
that's wagging.
We will also take a drink if Lawrence Tisdall mixes up what we can know about Lucy, the Australopithecus, with anything we can know about her wider taxon. So basically, if he's like, oh, we don't know if Lucy could have walked upright because we didn't have her feet. Yeah, well, we have other Australopithecus feet, so it doesn't matter. Oh, I missed a chat. Oh my goodness. Let me see what I missed.
From member Arrow Dodger.
Yes, Arrow Dodger, who's been a member for 16 months, says, how long is a cubit? None of you effers can agree. It's from your elbow to the tip of your middle finger. That's a cubit. Well, thanks for getting me in trouble with the censors. That counts as 1, Chesh.
It does not. I didn't say nothing.
I count. Sign language counts.
Sign language counts.
It's a language, Chesh.
It is a language.
Yeah, actually, it's a collection of languages. But, actually, what sign language is used up there? I don't even know.
Whatever people happen to know at the time.
Chesh, you don't know any of the local sign language? How do you talk to deaf people?
I don't.
Wow. All right, Chesh is canceled for ableism.
Bitch, I don't leave my house.
What if a deaf person breaks in?
Then they can have whatever they want. I don't care.
All right, I suppose that's fine. But that means that if a deaf person breaks in, you have to give them whatever they want.
Okay.
Okay, that's the deal.
All right.
You read it here first, deaf people in Canada. Because I'm assuming that there's subtitles. Because Chesh definitely didn't sign that. Also,
Nope.
if any of you know what sign language is used in Canada or in different parts of Canada at me so that I can know.
It's usually American, but also like Australian sign language is not terribly like not unusual. It's just a little bit of like a dialect change, like there is with anything like, you know, English.
Canada mostly uses a northern dialect of ASL, says Becca Justinian. There we go. All right.
See?
That means I could communicate at a very low level with deaf people in Canada, which means I'm better than Chesh.
Yeah, basically.
Yep.
You're at around and a little bit better than I am.
Mm-hmm.
My sister knows sign language. But she knows Australian sign language.
Okay. I don't know a single bit of Australian sign language.
I know a little bit, but not very much.
I've
been intending on learning some, but it goes under my list of languages I keep wanting to work on and learn and never do.
Oh, you mean like Korean?
Yes, but Korean is only recent, so I don't feel bad about that.
Okay. We'll also take a drink if Lawrence mentions that political party that was really big in Germany in the 1930s and is increasingly depressingly popular now. We'll also take a drink if either Chesh or I can actually predict what he's going to say, and we'll also take a drink if I make a mistake with the production. So, for instance, if I accidentally mute Chesh, that's a dapper as a professional. If I switch to the wrong scene, that's a dapper as a professional. If I accidentally mute myself, that's dapper as a professional. If it's an act of God, like, you know, my computer catches fire or YouTube blows up or something, well, then that's not on. Even if it was an act of crime. If it's not my crime, then it doesn't count. It has to be within my control for it to count as dapper as a professional. We'll also take a drink for every gifted membership. You get 5 memberships, we take 5 drinks. You get 10 memberships, we take 10 drinks. Now that goes until about like 30-ish. Around that point, when that many have stacked into the list of drinks to have, I'm just going to finish whatever I'm drinking and go get another one. And then increment the counter by 30. So, or whatever the number is. So that is probably the fastest way to get us to drink. But I think that sums it up. If there's another one that I forgot, well then we'll drink for it when we get there. Chesh, are you likely to get more ready in the next few minutes?
No, I'm fine.
All right, here we go. Lawrence Tisdall, video 2. Creation Weekend, session 2.
Let's talk about the dating game. Is the Earth thousands or billions of years old? So what we're going to... Mark 10...
Honestly, I'd rather watch the game show from like this, what was it, the 70s, the dating game? That sounds more fun. Yeah.
6 says this, but from the beginning of the creation, God made them male and female.
Brace for homophobia and or transphobia.
Steve, not Adam and Steve.
Get ready.
An extremely powerful verse. Why is it so powerful? Well, it's so powerful because Jesus...
Oh, Google says ASL in English-speaking Canada and Quebecois sign language in French-speaking Quebec. Wait, Quebec has its own sign language?
Of course it does. It's Quebec.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Have you met Quebec?
I've been to Quebec more than I've been to any other province.
They're always like that.
I say that like it's a big deal. I've been to Quebec like 3 times, and I've been to BC once, and that's it. Like, that's my entirety of going to Canada. So when I say more than any other province, it's not like I have this like gigantic
Quebec.
list. What?
No, Quebec or Quebec is always, they always have like their own version of things because they're special little boys and like to be special and like to be, you know, unique.
Jesus is speaking it. Jesus is the Word, right? In fact, in John 1, if you read it carefully...
I mean, in John, he's the Word. It doesn't say that anywhere in Mark. And spoiler alert, the author of Mark and the author of John, who are probably not, or almost certainly not Mark and John, probably didn't talk to each other and probably would have disagreed on a lot of things. So, like, what Lawrence is doing here is not letting the Bible speak on its own terms, but enforcing his idea of, like, all of it has to agree with itself and all of it has to actually be coming from ultimately the same mind, which is, I'll say this, that is a thing that is believed without evidence and contrary to some evidence in general. That is not something that Lawrence could reasonably argue for. That's just something he has decided to believe. Or to at least act like he believes.
You'll notice that when it says the world, he's a light, the world is in darkness, did not receive him. But if you look at the context, they're talking about Jesus as creator is what they're not receiving.
I don't know if that's a reasonable interpretation. I don't really care. Roshino for $4.99 says, wait, French Canadians are worse than the French? I mean...
Okay, so when it comes to Quebec and the bloc and the Quebecois specifically, they have done a lot to hold on to very closely to their hearts their French roots. So much so that the language that they speak in Quebec is more like original French than current day France.
Okay, but to be fair, that's also true of North American English, which is much more similar to like Shakespeare English than anything spoken in the UK right now.
Yes, and I like the reason I'm bringing it up is specifically because of that. So if you want to like hate on the French, the people you're aiming it at is actually closer to the Quebecois people than it is the people that are actually in
Also,
French right now.
Not every
France right now.
Quebecois person is part of like Bloc Quebecois.
No, I'm just being a weenie.
Okay. I was saying because like it's unsurprisingly many people
Not to
live
get
in Quebec.
political,
Oh,
but
okay.
the United States pissed off Canada so much that the Quebecois, the Bloc, the people who've been known for wanting to separate from Canada for decades, was like, "We're Canadian, fuck you."
Yeah. Once
and everyone laughed.
Once you got the Bloc to side with Canada as a state, it was like, oh no.
Yeah. Oops.
Uh,
Wonderful.
Really, you should be thanking the U.S. for healing this divide within the Canadian government and people.
Listen, we have a lot of things to thank the current U.S. government for, and we talk about that more on my channel.
Lowering interprovincial trade barriers. That's another big one.
Yeah, a big honking chunk of elbows up is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Little bit of unitedness going on.
The internal trade barriers between provinces always just baffled me. I'm like, this is like the dumbest shit.
It was a little wacky.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Look, there's not a whole lot of stuff that I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, USA. But like lack of internal trade barriers, definitely a good thing.
Yeah.
As well as Messiah. But they're not receiving him as creator. Because it's all about creation. He's the Word, he created all things.
Cool, dude.
So
tell us about dating.
Jesus, if anybody's going to interpret the Bible, it's got to be Jesus. He is the Word. He says, male and female were there at the beginning. Period.
Okay.
That's it.
Lawrence.
You go.
Here's the thing, right? You're trying to make an argument about scientific evidence, and regardless of what's true about the Bible and how divine Jesus is or isn't, or whatever, this isn't a scientific argument. You're not going to get any scientist to be like, oh, well, Jesus did say he made them together in the beginning. And the only context that could have been is the beginning of time from the absolute beginning, even though it's actually not the beginning of time if you read anything in Genesis. But whatever, we'll ignore that problem and just accept that that's what it means. And therefore, I guess all the evidence is wrong. It's just not going to happen, Lawrence. Who do you think
I have a question for Lawrence. When God created everything at the beginning, before he was, he made all the plants and animals or in the sky and the ocean, whatever, did he make clownfish?
Oh, yeah. Were they male or female?
Was clownfish part of that bunch? Because if they were, maybe. Or I got another question. Mushrooms? Fungus? Did fungus come before we did? Because I'd like to point out that a lot of creatures and fish and animals and birds have gendered before humans and have sexual dimorphism before humans existed. So believe it or not, male and female were actually made before humans, and in fact there were more than just the two.
To slightly defend Lawrence, the context here is talking about humans in the context of marriage. So it's very clearly that this is specifically about Adam and Eve and not any other...
He's the one who brought up that in the beginning, blah, 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 blah. He started it.
That's true.
Is there time before Genesis 1 and 2?
I could take that a number of ways. Is there time before those verses were written? Or those chapters were written? Yeah, because they were written at a certain point in history. Do they describe the universe as pre-existing? Actually, yes, they both do. Do you and your theology think there was time before that? I don't know. I don't care. Are these actual stories where you could say that these are historical events and there was or was not time before them? No. These are just things that didn't happen. So, like, it's sort of like asking, was there a time before Hagrid told Harry that he was a wizard? Well, in one sense, no, because that's just not a thing that ever really happened. But in other senses, yes. But then in terms of, like, you know, the narrative, kind of, not really, not much. It was like one chapter before that, I guess. So, like...
I don't know. It doesn't say that God created time in the Bible.
No,
so,
it does not. That is a
maybe.
post-biblical philosophical, like, deduction on the basis of prior Christian theology. Which, I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you're not allowed to believe in a creator God. I don't care. Like, do you. But, like, the Bible doesn't demand that God create time. It's certainly not in the text. Roshina for 499 says, in the beginning God made Adam, then he had Adam have sex with all the animals before making female human Eve. Now, to be fair, the Bible also doesn't say that Adam had sex with all of them, just that no suitable companion was found. I feel like that could have
had to try.
Well, it could have just been like, you know, window shopping. Like, no, that one doesn't do it for me.
Indication. An attempt had been made.
Look, it's like if you're looking for like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you don't have to have sex with every potential candidate to be like, nah. There's some people you just be like, nah, not for me, before you even have sex.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. But it has to be at least considered.
Right, yeah. You have to think about it.
So I think what we can conclude is Adam, definitively not a furry. Eve, however, probably a scaly.
Ah, there we go.
Don't
worry, I'm here for you.
Male and female were there at the beginning. The answer is no. I mean, it's just logical. Or you have to say
just logic.
I love the idea that the beginning can only mean the beginning of time, because no one ever uses the word beginning for anything else, right? Like
never.
Like if you're like, oh hey Dapper, tell me this story, and I was like, well, I guess I'll start at the beginning. So the Big Bang. Like
you're asking a question about yesterday,
right? Or like, hey Dapper, tell me that story about how a sea turtle knocked you over in Hawaii. Like, all right, so 13.8 billion years ago, there was a tiny little dot of concentrated energy. Like, no.
I like this story. It's my favorite story.
The only story. Like that's not how people work, Lawrence. Even in the Bible, you think everyone who ever told a story in Bible times started with their creation myth and then worked forward until the present day? That's not how it worked.
Yes.
Lieutenant Matt the Navigator.
Haven't you ever read the Odyssey?
Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says archaeologists have determined that the serpent was intended for ritual use. Okay, so on the one hand, there are actual criteria that people use to determine if something might have been used for ritual use, and it's not just a grab bag, but also sometimes it's just a grab bag, often for things that are just sex toys. It's like, what was this polished piece of wood in the exact shape and size of a human penis for? Probably ritual purposes. Probably ritual purposes. That's
probably,
it.
Probably.
Yep.
Yep.
They use it to call forth rain for their crops. Yeah, okay, sure.
They used it to make things wet for their crops.
Secondly, Paul says, and so it is written, the first Adam was made a living soul, and the last Adam was made a quickening spirit. So Adam wasn't an evolved monkey.
That doesn't say that at all.
That doesn't what?
Where do you get that from that passage, Lawrence? What?
I feel like you're reaching, sir.
I'm taking a drink. That was dumb. I feel like Lawrence has just decided, well, my theology is correct, so I'm just going to read it into verses that have nothing to do with it. But they're in the Bible,
I'm gonna make things up. Yay!
Yeah. Okay, Lawrence. What else you got for us? Oh my goodness! I forgot. I need to thank people. So first of all,
Dapper's a professional. Take a drink.
Yeah, that counts. Okay, so first of all,
give me an excuse.
I want to say thank you to Tanya, who got me some. And for Godzilla too. Okay. That might be my friend who's, quote, stuck in Hyderabad. Some creme brulee almonds. So, yeah. Oh, Chech, because I'm looking at it. Do you know what circumflex accent in French is for?
No.
is to let you know that in Old French there used to be an S after that vowel. That's it. It's pointless. It's just like a little bit of historical curiosity, but if you forget it, you've spelt the word wrong. Thanks, French.
That sounds that tracks to me.
So that's a very French kind of thing to do.
That sounds like it. Yeah,
All right. Let's see. I also want to thank Pat Clippo / Princess Michigan for getting me a warm. Oh goodness! Now I can't remember the name of the thing. Chesh, tell people about things about goblins, and I'll be right back.
Hi, I am Chesh. I am the resident goblin expert because I am a goblin expert. You can find me at the link probably down below. I do art and stuff. Not all goblins do art, but we do have very fine cuisine. That very fine cuisine is generally made up of root vegetables and fungus and mushrooms, things that kind of grow slightly below the surface, as well as some very, very tasty teas that have a very musky, woody, barky flavor, very, very pronounced in that regard. Hi.
For a Warhammer the Horus Heresy Legions Imperialis War Master Iconoclast Heavy Battle Titan. You can see why I couldn't remember that whole thing. It's a very long name.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, but also it's so this is for Allegiance Imperialis, which is a Warhammer game, as you probably guessed, right? So
I never would have figured that one.
This game is about like the scale is like 4 times smaller than standard like Warhammer, and still, this might be one of the largest models that I've ever owned in my entire life, apart maybe from that time I had a Necron monolith. In terms of Warhammer models, this thing is gigantic. So, and it's also got
pretty big.
What seems like 5,000 different parts to put together. So that might be a project for like a month. The weirdo CKA Evan has just joined at the tetrapod level, so everyone send some pelagic tunicates and not. So wait, no, send tetrapods and not pelagic tunicates. Damn it, I messed. I blame Chesh.
I'm drinking for Dapper's a professional.
Yeah, fine. Chesh ensorcelled me. That's what happened.
That counts.
Right. So thank you to Princess Michigan and Tanya for those. I'm going to be eating some creme brulee almonds while I watch Godzilla later on. Or, well, since it's Godzilla in the city on the edge of battle, mostly while I don't watch Godzilla, because it's Godzilla and the city on the edge of battle. So that's why. It's a movie that exists. I'll give it that. All right.
This drink is really good.
Well, now you have a new drink in your repertoire. Everyone's sending pelagic tunicates.
Praise the tunicate! Praise the tunicate!
Goodness, I hate this.
I'm gonna make a big one with googly eyes.
All right, we're out of here, everybody.
We're leaving or dying.
Hey, before you leave, I just want to take a second.
All right, fine, we're back. I'll hit play.
That God breathed into, or ancestor monkey, or whatever you want to say. Adam was a real person.
I mean, he wasn't, but like, go on.
Being a real person doesn't preclude you from being a monkey.
Yeah, that's true. Lawrence Tisdall is a real person. He's still a monkey.
Unga bunga!
Yeah.
Return to monk. That's really dumb. I'm drinking for that being really dumb.
Yeah, that's fair.
Go back to Adam. The Bible talks about, Jesus talks about how they spilled the blood of the prophets back to Abel. Right?
I don't remember Abel being described as a prophet in Genesis, but like, what do I know? It seems like maybe
monkeys are real, therefore they're not real.
Well, also
monkeys are real, therefore they're not monkeys.
Also, the different parts of the Bible aren't like very exacting in their reporting on other parts of the Bible, because the Bible is internally contradictory, and the different bits of it were written for different purposes by different people at different times with different beliefs.
Okay. You mean a lot of people who do a lot of like quote unquote Bible study never actually study the Bible?
Yeah, instead what they do is they tend to study their own traditions' takes on the Bible, which may or may not reflect what's actually in the Bible. Yeah, I think that's a thing that happens.
Maybe. Allegedly.
All real people. It doesn't make sense otherwise. So obviously Jesus...
Lawrence,
what?
First of all, I think people can make sense of it without Adam and Eve being real people. So, like, fair enough. But also, my guy, what you're doing right now is giving people less reason to believe in the Bible, not more reason to reject science. Because whatever else is happening, when it comes to, hey guys, here's a story you don't know who wrote down sometime like 1,000 years ago, versus, hey guys, here's cold, hard science data from paleontology, from genetics, from embryology, from all these things. One of those should give you a higher level of confidence, and it's the one with the data, not the one where a guy wrote down a story one time. That doesn't mean that guys who write down stories can't be right. They often are. But in the face of overwhelming scientific opposition, I'm going to side with the data. Right?
Well, especially since the data doesn't, like, stand in the face of your belief system. It doesn't have to, at the very least.
I mean, it did. I was a young Earth.
Sure, but it doesn't have to.
Right.
You can still believe in God and your Bible without being a lying liar who lies.
Literal Genesis and a very recent Earth. Here we have the genealogy in Luke 3:23-28, and Jesus himself began to be about 30 years of age, being as was supposed the son of Joseph, son of Heli, etc., etc., and which was the son of Enos, Seth, son of Adam, son of God. So there's no
Are we all sons of Adam and daughters of Eve?
Thanks, Aslan.
Aslan told me that. Yeah. Aslan told me that in Narnia one time.
Are you sure it wasn't Jada who said it first?
No.
Because it was.
Oh, well.
Chesh loses at...
I heard it from Aslan.
Chesh loses at Chronicles of Narnia trivia.
Well, I read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe first, all right? I didn't get the whole set until later, and that's when I read the rest of them.
Yeah, she does it first in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That's when she does it.
Does she?
Yeah. She calls the Pevensey kids children of Adam and Eve.
Yeah, she does. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
Chesh is bad at this.
I'm pretty sure, actually, doesn't the Fawn say it really early on, too?
He might call Lucy a daughter. Yeah.
He might really early on.
So that means two characters say it before Aslan does. We got Tumnus and we've got Jada, and also the Beavers do it before he does too, don't they?
Probably.
I think they do. I'm not positive. Hey, anyone who's an expert on The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, hit me up.
I haven't read those books in ages.
Same. I actually saw some bits of like the stage production that Answers in Genesis put on for their stage version of A Horse and His Boy, and like the horse costumes were actually pretty damn impressive. And I was like, I kind of want to see this just to see like the horse costumes in action,
right? Because
like
I would like to. We should do it, but I'll bring one of those pull-on horse heads.
Well, yes, and also make sure you have all your shots because AIG caused a measles outbreak recently.
Oh, man.
Not even kidding. There was an outbreak at their museum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Grievous for $5 says, but Jesus wasn't supposed to be a son of Joseph, Lawrence. Yeah, to be fair, that's why the gospel says who is supposed to have been a son of Joseph. Son of blah, blah, blah.
Allegedly.
Like, that verse does actually address that. Grievous also for $5 says, also, I find his lack of imagination disturbing with a Mothra. Thank you very much. Nice Star Wars reference.
I'll take a drink from Mothra.
Did I tell you that, so you know I went to my brother's wedding not that long ago?
Yeah.
When he came down the aisle, it was to a very nice piano arrangement of the main theme from Star Wars, A New Hope.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And, like, so it starts, and I'm like, gee, this is really familiar, but it's not like the orchestral arrangement that you get from the movie. So it takes a little bit, but then me and my brother, who are sitting next to each other, we just look over to each other and we're like, is that? Yeah, that is. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
That what I think it is? Yes.
Yep. This being a different brother than the one who's walking down the aisle, obviously.
Yeah. No, I got that. Thanks. I figured that one out.
I'm letting all the people in internet land know, because every once in a while I get trolls.
I think they figured it out.
People in internet land exist who are as dumb as Lawrence Tisdall.
Yeah, but they're not in your audience.
Sure they are. They're called hate watchers. I get hate watcher comments.
Yeah, but we don't need to explain to hate watchers. They're not going to get it even if you do explain.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Hi, Hate Watchers. We love you.
Pre-Adamic race.
Adamic.
Call me.
It's usually pronounced Adamic, but whatever. Who cares? He's French.
Hmm.
In fact, it's,
Hmm.
yeah, I'll do this. And it's inherent. An understanding of this is inherent. There's a reason why the Jewish calendar that we're in year 5,773.
Yeah, because they picked a different arbitrary start date, Lawrence. To correspond with a different Bible story. That's all that happens. Do you actually think that there is an unbroken line of Jewish people counting the year from Adam, Lawrence? Do you think
This
that's a
is
real
some, like,
thing?
This is like some shit that would be in Supernatural. Like, there's just one guy who's just like his job is just to count, and like, and then when he dies, another guy takes his place, or it's the same. It's been the same guy the whole time.
It's been
who's
the
just
same
been
guy.
alive the whole time. That would be some Supernatural.
It's been the same
like,
guy the
this
whole
show
time.
Supernatural, I mean.
And even though he's been alive since the beginning of time, he inexplicably dresses and grooms himself like a Hasidic Jew from New York.
Yes.
That's what
Yeah,
Supernatural would do.
100%. Yes, absolutely.
Even though that makes
exactly.
zero sense at all. That doesn't make a lick
You
of
get
sense.
it. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying.
No, it's because I've seen the first few
Episodes
seasons
of
of
Supernatural?
Yeah, the first few seasons. Basically, once I realized that every season from now on was just going to be, let's stop the next end of the world, I was like, all right, I've already seen this a
Yeah,
few
the
times.
first like 4 seasons are really good when they do like the big stopping the end of the world before the Leviathans and before the Alphas. When they get to the Leviathan, I stopped watching at that point. I was like, I'm done.
Leviathans was also my last season. I
Yeah,
still think that my favorite season is the first season, where it's a couple brothers looking for their dad on a Monster of the Week adventure every week.
Yeah, I wish that after they saved the world, they went back to that formula. That would have been great.
Ashley Loves Blahai for $4.99 says Genesis 1:27 and others like it being used by transphobes is the modern equivalent of the Curse of Ham. Agreed. AIG is a bag of phalli. Trans Jesus equals base. Well, I'm also not a big fan of looking back into history and just deciding that people were trans who probably weren't, but I'll take a drink. Although there are people in history that probably would be considered trans now, and who weren't recognized as such. So, like, there is that, too.
Yeah, that's fine.
Why would they say 5,773? Because it's inherent that the Earth is under 6,000 years old.
Dude.
It's inherent?
Look, if you take the Genesis very literally, then you do roughly get to somewhere around it. But, dude, that Jewish people have also noticed that if you count up from the Bible to like various things that you can pinpoint in history, you get to about 6,000 years. From that text isn't evidence of the accuracy of the text. It's evidence that more than one group of people have that text as part of their religious tradition. That's it. That's all that is.
No,
Like,
when number go up, number go up.
Yeah. Basically, all this is Lawrence saying, hey, did you know that Jews also read Genesis? To which the response is, well, yeah, I did know that, actually, Lawrence.
Did you know that Jews could read? I didn't.
I did. I don't know that I've ever met...
Did you know?
I don't think I've ever met an illiterate Jew.
Has Lawrence?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Does like Quebec have like a big Jewish population?
I have no idea, but I like the idea that we're operating on here, that we're just assuming that people of other religions have never read holy books that may be tangentially related to their own.
Or that are core to their own. Sorry. To their
religion. Or that are core to their own, or like maybe generally relevant to your general society in your area.
Genesis is part of the Torah. You know, the most important part for Jews. Like, the Torah. The part that they keep in a special box inside of a handwritten scroll, or it's written on a handwritten scroll that you have to train for years to be able to write. And, like, either various rituals associated with writing it, like when you come to, like, the name Amalek, you have to write it and then blot it out and then write it again. And, like, you're supposed to count out how many mistakes you get. And if you get to too many mistakes, you got to burn the whole damn thing. That thing, that's the Torah scroll. It's the part that every once in a while during holidays they bring out and parade around like it's the center of the whole experience. Because it is. Because it's the Torah scroll. Yeah. Basically, all Lawrence is doing is like, hey, guys, You know the Jews? Big fans of the Torah. Okay, Lawrence, that's great. That doesn't help me know how old the Earth is, though. Turns out that I don't date the Earth based on how big of a fan of Genesis Jewish people are. I don't know.
This is stupid.
Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says, breaking news, the culture that created the text has elements of the text as part of their culture. More at 6. Yeah.
more at 6. More at 11.
Arumdaputs for $5 says, I might have met some illiterate Jews in preschool. Alright, yeah, in preschool, I'll give you that.
I'm drinking for illiterate Jewish preschoolers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Those stupid kids, they should learn how to read. I'll take a drink.
It's the normal reading of the text. To make it read something else,
The normal reading.
go to Bible college a long time.
Yeah, you have to realize that all the evidence points against it. That's what he means there. You have to be someone who realizes that it can't possibly be true in the literal form that you're taking it. Oh no!
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I love the idea that, like, well, you have to be really educated to believe this, as if that's a bad thing and a good reason not to believe that thing. Like, can you believe only smart people think this is true? Lawrence, you're telling on yourself a little bit there, buddy. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Okay, because that's not what it says. If we're just to look at it, it's not going to say that. So there's no gap, and it makes things worse. When I'll get into it maybe a little later. I don't know if I have time. I'll just say this quickly because I don't think it comes up in my other talks. There's a big theological issue with trying to have time be extended, and that the 6 days not be a 6 days, and that is concerning death.
Oh,
he's gonna do death before the fall. We can't have death before the fall, everybody. Which, like, here's the thing. Great, that's a theological issue, but it's a theological issue for you and not for science. So, like,
all I can think is, can you just be normal for 5 minutes?
No. Also, imagine
the kid screaming in the back.
Imagine coming up to a geologist who's looking at granite that would take longer to form from magma than the Earth has been around, according to Lawrence, and then telling him, I think you're wrong, because if the granite is as old as you say it is, then some bugs would have died during that time.
And the geologist is Jewish.
Yes, that is clearly one of the things that has to be going on here.
It is necessary.
Yeah, and then Lawrence will use his vast understanding of Judaism to try to shame this guy for not believing the Torah.
A goofy guy.
I can actually imagine Lawrence doing shit like that. Like trying to lecture an actual Jew on how to do Judaism.
And then that's like, it's not how the conversation went, but that's definitely how he tells the conversation on one of these talks.
Which, by the way, Christians out there. Now, this is certainly not all of you. However, it's some of you. Don't tell.
It's more of you than would be comfortable with.
Don't tell Jews how to do Judaism, or basically anyone else who's a part of a different religion how to do their religion. They know how to do it, and if they don't, it's for their co-religionists to help them with, not you. Not you. Yeah. That's why
you don't got this.
When I was in college, a Muslim friend of mine had a beer, I just shut the hell up. Or if a Jewish friend of mine was having a BLT, also just shut the hell up, because it's not my business. Not my business.
Don't be a dick.
Or if it was one of the many, many fasting days on the Coptic Orthodox calendar, and those guys at the food truck run by cops were eating some chicken or some lamb, also didn't say anything. By the way, did you know that more than half of the days of the year are fasting days for the Coptic Orthodox Church?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's more than half. That's crazy.
Can I use my F-bomb?
No, you already did.
Oh. No, I didn't.
Yes,
I just gave a middle finger.
Yeah, that's sign language. It counts.
The YouTube centers don't catch that.
Stop being ableist.
I'm not ableist. It's the YouTube censors that don't catch it. It's not my fault.
You're being ableist for thinking that sign language doesn't count.
Only that doesn't count because of the censors.
It counts for me, and that's what really matters. It's in my heart is what really matters.
Fine. You don't get to hear my joke because Dapper's being a meanie face.
Mm-hmm.
It's being goblin racist.
Unless we get 17 more super chats of $5 or above.
I'm gonna forget what it was.
Oh my, I just realized. I've been completely ignoring the tracker here. We don't have $0. That's a Dapper.
Drink for Dapper's a
Dapper's a
professional.
that's definitely a
Also,
Dapper
Drink for me
professional.
is a professional because I noticed at the beginning and I was going to say something and then I forgot.
Sure, I'll take a second drink. I don't care.
It counts.
Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $2 says, I bet Brick's with better analytical skills. Yeah.
Brick.
But were they mud bricks like the Israelites were supposed to have made in Egypt, even though the various things that people point at as being made by the Hebrew slaves in Egypt are usually made out of stone and not mud bricks?
Now, death is a very important thing in our faith.
Okay.
The victory over death, that is.
Yep, we get
The
it, man.
resurrection. I mean, if Jesus was still in the...
That's just clickety-clack is louder than Lawrence.
Don't look at what I said.
Uh-oh.
tomb, would we be Christians? No.
What?
We'd be Buddhist.
Lawrence, if Jesus never came back from the dead, it's not that you wouldn't be Christians. It's that you would be wrong and also still be Christians. That's what's actually the case there. Like, think about this. Your idea here, Lawrence, is that if a religion is making truth claims that are false, and you have to believe the truth claims to be part of the religion, which is not all religions, by the way. There are religions out there that don't particularly demand that you believe anything in particular. But if you're in one of the religions that does, and Christianity is generally one of them, what you're saying is that people can't be in a religion like that unless it's true. But Lawrence, Islam is a religion like that. Islam requires that you believe certain things. In fact, to become a Muslim, the generally accepted practice is that you have to say, while believing it, that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his prophet. Generally, you're supposed to say it in Arabic, but you should know what it means. And you're supposed to say it in front of a witness. Depending on the sect, the witness might have to be male. I don't know. Apparently, God doesn't make it doesn't count for God unless the person you say that you believe in Muhammad to has a penis, I guess. I don't know what the rules are.
What? Okay.
It's not universal in Islam, because nothing's universal in any religion, because that's not how religions work. But anyway, so Lawrence, if your logic were accurate, what that would have to mean is that both Islam and Christianity are true. But they make mutually incompatible claims about many things. So they can't both be true, Lawrence. So either people can believe religious claims that are false, and therefore you could still be a Christian regardless of whether or not Jesus was raised from the dead. Or mutually contradictory religious claims are just true, and you've just thrown out the idea of the law of non-contradiction. I feel like throwing out the law of non-contradiction in formal logic is a bad idea, because then you can't make any logical claims about anything. But, like, I don't know. Grievous for $10 says, can we add to Chesh's F-word fund? There you go, you get a free one. With a Mothra, I'll take a drink for the Mothra. So, Chesh, you can definitely say an F-bomb now.
I can?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay, so my joke was gonna be, did you know that, hey Lawrence, did you know shutting the fuck up is absolutely free?
It sure is. Although, to be fair, there are a lot of games that have been given away for free on the Epic Game Store, and I still haven't gotten one of them, because get out of here, Epic. Your stupid timed PC exclusive bullshit. I hate it. I have a grudge against Epic for that nonsense. Also, taking people... especially taking games that like people crowdfunded with the promise of a Steam release, and then being like, oh, but what if we gave you a whole bunch of money to break that promise?
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Now, I'm fine if someone wants to release on Epic and Steam. Right?
Thank you for freeing me for that joke. It was really hurting me. It was causing me physical pain to hold it in.
If Chesh didn't get to tell that joke, she would have been thinking about it as she goes to bed.
Oh, I would have, I might have not survived till tomorrow.
She would have texted me the joke. Like, this is the joke I was trying to say. Thanks, Dapper. That's alright. Every once in a while, I wake up to a text from like 2 a.m. from like Chesh, and I'm just like, what's going on?
It's not free for Chesh.
Lieutenant Matt the Navigator for $5 says, if Joseph Smith couldn't translate Reformed Egyptian, there'd be no Mormons. Yeah, exactly. How could there be Mormons if Joseph Smith couldn't actually translate Reformed Egyptian? Obviously.
Oh, no.
Petite Flower says for $5, unleash the Chesh! Well, now we only need 14. And actually, we're going to take a quick break because we are at the top of the hour. I'm going to get myself a fresh drink. I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are too. In the meantime, there should be a new teaser trailer for Star Trek Endurance the Star Trek TTRPG actual play that I am in and that Chesh is in. She plays the captain, and so you're going to get to hear her voice again. Her dulcet tones, if you will.
It's me, your boy.
Captain Tanelia.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back, everybody. Next time on Star Trek Endurance.
Captain's Log, Stardate 60631.4. A priority message from Starfleet Command has deployed us to the Alpha Toriui system to rendezvous with USS Mogami to assist in the evacuation of a team of archaeologists and several unique ancient artifacts from below the surface of the Second World. I'm intrigued by the mysteries the planet contains, but what we rescue here may be all that will answer the many questions that we have about who was in that system and why.
Alpha Toriui 2 has been a focal point for archaeological work in the Shackleton Expanse for years. The ruins are subterranean and many of them have been cut off by magma as fluctuations in local gravity have heated the planet. Now the planet is a volcanic hell with open lakes of lava all over the surface, constant eruptions, and an increasingly toxic atmosphere. Intense radiation from Alpha Toriui is stripping off the atmosphere and resulting in brilliant aurorae. Unfortunately for the crew, the star is unstable and in a premature red giant phase. Readings on it are erratic, and a collapse into a supernova is expected anytime in the next few days. The archaeologists under the surface of the second planet must be evacuated as soon as possible, but they insist on careful removal of artifacts. Admiral Hebert and General Kargan have ordered a flotilla to transport the Federation personnel. The fleet includes the USS Kongzi in command, the USS Ontario, the IKS Joruicher, and the IKS Pekovij. Can the crew get their personnel off the planet before the star collapses? Will the ships themselves be able to escape in time? What, if any, mysteries does the planet have left, and will they interfere with the evacuation? Find out next time on Star Trek Endurance, only on the Top Hats Off channel.
Okay, we are back. Welcome back for $2 Math Navigator set, a cave episode. Are there Vendorians? There might be. It could be a Vendorian morality play, or challenge, or whatever. Test? I don't know. But there could be Vendorians. I'm opening another of these ciders. They come in can.
Nice. I got another piece of ice to keep my slushy cold.
Nice. I thought it was a milkshake.
It is.
Okay.
We're just calling it a slushy.
You like to lie to people?
Yeah, it's my favorite thing.
Okay. All right.
One of my favorite things.
So, now that we are back, I want to say thank you so much to everyone who is super chatting or who has done so in the past or who might want to give some gifted memberships or anything like that. It really helps. The channel does depend almost entirely on the direct funding from fans, whether it be in the form of super chats, super stickers, super thanks, memberships, gifted memberships, the Patreon, all that stuff. If you want to keep the channel going, make sure that I can do this for as long as I possibly can, because that's my goal. Probably the best way is the Patreon. Link in the description. If you go to the Patreon, you can get a Patreon pledge for like $1 a month. There are higher tiers. You get a 15% discount if you go annual. There's also the channel memberships. Those start at $1.99. There is no discount for going annual, but those give you the same perks, as well as you get the green name in the chat, which you can see most people here have. You get the cool little badge after the name. And yeah, both of those will give you access to the Discord, as well as early access to videos, which, by the way, a video of mine has just finally gone up on YouTube while we were doing the stream. It's an hour and 40 plus minutes long, and it's not a supercut. The supercut is going to be about 7 hours long when all is said and done, and I'm probably going to put that out tomorrow, just because I don't want to tonight. I'm tired. But yeah, so those are some perks. That's a great way to help out. If you want to, there's also a merch store. There's a merch shelf below this video. I also have an Amazon wish list linked, where there's all sorts of stuff, everything from monitors to canned meat to toys like the War Master Iconoclast Heavy Battle Titan, which I'm going to call a toy. It's like, oh, it's a wargaming miniature. Yeah, that's a toy. You play with it. You play a game. It's a toy. I am willing to own that
It's a toy, it counts.
I am willing to own that I sometimes buy toys. I have a Megazord. I have I guess it's not super a toy, my Lord Draken helmet, because like you can't really play with it. It's just a play piece, but like
Every time you say Draken, I'm thinking of Draken from Kim Possible, who does not, in fact, wear a helmet, but makes me laugh.
Well, Lord Draken is actually a really fun villain from the comic books, so I suggest that. But like, yeah, it's a great way to help out. There's also some costuming things, because I'm going to be running a Warhammer TTRPG coming up here, so I've got like a Mechanicus bell with a little incense burner thing at the bottom. I've got a little pin, a purity seal. So yeah, a Titanicus or Legio Titanicus pin. So, you know, there's fun stuff there if you want to help out. And also, of course, if you want to help me get videos out and produced reasonably quickly, there is Sheepit. So Sheepit is the render firm I use to get my animations done. The way it works is that I render other people's frames, and that gives me points. And then when people render my frames, it deducts points. And the priority of my frames is dependent on my points compared to the points of other people who are trying to get frames rendered. In other words, the more I help out, the higher priority my frames are, the more points I have. But if you want to help me out with that, there are instructions for how to render for me. There's a section in the description called How to Render for Me. Go download the client that's appropriate for your operating system. Then just log in with the credentials that I have listed in the description, and you'll be rendering for me. So yeah, that's it. I think that is enough of a commercial time. I am ready for more Lawrence.
The membership drop where Gup. Yeah, let's go. Yeah,
Gupdo3, who's been a member for 42 months, says, all Chesh knows is eat hot chip and lie with a Mothra. We're going to leave be bisexual up for interpretation. You don't get to know.
Pickles.
Pickles are bisexual.
Icons, truly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Buddha is still in the tomb. But we're not Buddhists. We're Christians.
What?
Buddha is still in the tomb? So if Buddha had resurrected, you would be a Buddhist?
What?
If Siddhartha Gautama had resurrected
Buddha ascended, that he did the same thing that Jesus did. What do you mean?
No, because Lawrence is a Christian, so he doesn't believe that about Siddhartha Gautama. So,
but
hey, take that.
That doesn't make any sense. Okay, whatever. I'm thinking about this too much.
Mm-hmm. Look, you're imagining that he is about to make sense, and that is never the right thing to imagine.
Yeah, I gotta stop with that. I gotta cut that out.
He is never going to make sense, and the fact that you were trying to make him make sense is honestly kind of offensive.
I'm doing my best.
It's not good enough.
It's not. It's just why? How could this happen to me?
Oh, and thanks YouTube Studio for running out of memory somehow. Love that.
Yay! You're a hero.
Because Jesus is not in the tomb. I've been there. I checked it out. It's empty.
No, you haven't, Lawrence, because you don't know where Jesus' tomb is.
You've been there. You checked it out. I don't believe you.
So what Lawrence almost certainly means is that he's been to the Garden Tomb, which is a location in like the outskirts of Jerusalem, which is now a fairly nice park, if I'm being honest, right? Like, it looks like a relaxing place to go hang out, to be fair. Because the Tomb Association, or whatever they're called, takes nice care of it, and they do nice landscaping and whatnot, right? But
sure,
it was identified as Jesus' tomb by a Protestant pastor who basically just didn't like the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which is the traditional location for Jesus' tomb. Now, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre we don't know if that's Jesus' tomb, right? There's no way to tell for certain. But it has this going for it over the Garden Tomb. It could be Jesus' tomb because it's in the right time and it's from the right time and in the right place. Because Jesus was supposed to have been buried on the outskirts of Jerusalem. And you're like, oh, but Dapper, you just said that the Garden Tomb is on the outskirts of Jerusalem. Yeah, modern Jerusalem. It's way outside ancient Jerusalem where the walls were, which were the actual borders of Jerusalem in the 1st century. Whereas the Tomb of the Holy Sepulchre is, in fact, outside where Jerusalem would have been in the 1st century, but only just so. And we know that it was from the
Lieutenant
right time.
Matt. I'm drinking for your super chat.
Lieutenant
Thank
Matt
you.
for $2 says, does the Garden Tomb have a shrubbery? So, that's one of the things that always gets me, is it's like, I get Protestants that you don't like the Catholics and presumably, like, I don't know, the various Eastern Christians who have joint ownership of the Tomb of the Holy Sepulchre. But, like, the one y'all picked is just absolutely not it. At least that one has the possibility of being Jesus' tomb. Right? Like, it's in about the right place and from the right time. Whereas the one you picked just isn't. So, like, sorry. But also, even if Jesus hadn't resurrected, tombs get reused. So I don't know if you know this, but the way that a 1st century Judean tomb works, right, is so first you wrap the body in like some spice and incense soaked linens, and this is basically just to help control the smell for people who were doing this funerary work, right? And then you put it in the tomb. And what you do is it just stays in the tomb for a while until it rots away to bones. And then you come in and you collect the bones and you put them in what's called an ossuary. It's a little box that you put all the bones in, and usually the name of the person who's been, put in the box, whose bones are in there, is written on the box. And then that goes elsewhere. And then the tomb is reused. So even if Jesus had been put in the tomb and hadn't resurrected, he wouldn't still be there. He'd be in an ossuary somewhere marked Jesus, which was basically like having an ossuary marked like, I don't know, like Joe in modern America. Like there's going to be a lot of Jesuses. So you would never know, even if you found his very ossuary.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a drink for Lawrence just not knowing anything about any of this topic, but be like, I totally checked, guys. Josh McGee's for $5 says, the Tomb of the Holy Sepulchre? No.
Maybe God didn't let you see it because you're arrogant.
Ooh.
Fight me.
Eris Rose, who's been a member for 26 months, is at the Tetral level, says, 26 months already? Time isn't real with Mothra. You might want to take that up with Chesh. Chesh is of the opinion that time is in fact something that exists.
Pretty sure time exists. It might not exist exactly as we know it, but I'm pretty sure it probably exists.
That's fair. Lieutenant Meth Navigator for $2 says, Protestants. There are Eastern Christians? Yeah, that is basically how Protestants think of Eastern Christians. It's true. I'm sorry. You're a Christian from Africa? Like Eastern Africa? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Yeah. Or like, wait, there are Christians in the Middle East? Like, yeah, man.
Nani?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's a stereotype, but it's a stereotype for a reason. The average Protestant's idea of Christian history goes like, well, so the book of Acts ended, and then Pastor Jim Bob rented out a garage space in the local shopping mall, and now we have a church.
It's a bit of a meme, but the math checks out.
Right?
It's a bit of an older meme.
And don't get me wrong, I've met some very historically aware Protestants who know a lot about Christian history.
Sure.
It does happen, but like, my God, guys. You could stand to step it up a little bit. Just a little bit. 80 bits.
It really is. I've been there. I came out. Yay, it's empty. Good stuff. So, death is vitally important.
Also, I want to point out, if he does mean the Garden Tomb, there are other tombs in the area that are also empty. Because again, that's how tombs worked.
Why in the they call it the last enemy. Why did Jesus have to resurrect from the dead? Well, because
Oh, are we actually going to get a Protestant trying to explain the purpose of the resurrection after the crucifixion? Because I'll be honest, when I was a Protestant, that was a thing that no explanation that anyone ever gave really made a whole lot of sense, because so much of Protestant soteriology is focused on the death of Jesus. The resurrection feels like a bit of an afterthought. So now that's not true in general Christian soteriology all over the place, right? There's a lot of different theological meanings that various Christians have assigned to the resurrection that, in fact, integrate it quite importantly into the whole idea of salvation. But like, I'm curious as to what he's going to say. But I'm also guessing it's going to be like, it was to prove that he was really God. Nah. I'm thinking that's probably what
Is he going to say nana nana boo boo at the end? He better.
I doubt it, but maybe.
death
I hope
came
so.
by Adam,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, that's in there.
All
So if
right.
death came before Adam, how does the story work now? If fossils represent death before Adam,
Wait, you're not going to explain the resurrection? Oh, I hate this
Boo!
man.
He lied. He lied to us.
I hate this man.
Oh, boo! So that's a
make sense?
failed prediction on your part, because he just like went for it. He like started going there, and then he just hard left turned.
Oh, Lawrence, why do you have to be so disappointing?
Yeah, man.
Oh.
Boo this man, boo!
It's like Lawrence is you, and I'm your dad. So disappointing.
Hey! Hey!
anymore.
Hey!
Death has to come by Adam,
Whoa!
both
Getting
spiritual
personal.
and physical. And you say, oh, maybe it was just humans. Wait. When Paul says all creation waits for the redemption of the Son of Man, all creation is all creation.
Okay.
Okay? So, age of the earth, we'll get back to that in a moment. Now let's look at what Thomas Huxley said, 1867.
I feel like we're on our fourth tangent.
Seriously, this is supposed to be about Age of the Earth, and only now are we maybe getting to the point.
No, he said, oh, that has to do with the age of the earth. But wait a minute. Let me talk about this other thing
Yeah,
first.
there's that. Yeah, jeez.
Look how
Lawrence.
cool my drink looks, by the way.
Wow.
Isn't that cool looking?
I mean, it looks like Pepto-Bismol.
A little bit. Bright pink.
Clergy, tell your congregations that the world was made 6,000 years ago in 6 days, and that all living animals were made within that period.
Okay. Someone didn't turn off their cell phone.
That was me. I was there.
I am bound to say, I do not believe these statements you make and teach. And I am further bound to say that I cannot call up to mind amongst the men of science and research and truthful men one who believes these things, but on the other hand, who does not believe the exact contrary.
Oh no! Someone in the past
What?
said that Lawrence is wrong. Okay.
Okay.
Lieutenant Matt Navigator for $2 says rabbits sure are expletive, ain't waiting around. Sorry, rabbits sure as expletive, ain't waiting around. They're not. They're busy. Rabbits are very busy. In fact,
Yep.
they might be similarly busy to beavers, although that's hard to say.
What?
Lawrence, are you saying that because you have trouble understanding what he just said, or what you just read from him? Is that what the problem is? Are you too dumb to figure out what that means? Because it means he's addressing pastors and saying, you guys say that we should teach that the Earth is only 6,000 years old and all this young Earth creationist stuff. And he's saying, I can't find anyone who's either educated or honest who says that that's true. Instead, they say it's not true. Does that help with the comprehension? Maybe Lawrence is like Kent, and he's just functionally illiterate.
I'm starting to think that that's the case.
I mean, it would certainly make it easier for me to think that his thing about, like, this is what they're teaching when he's giving you a list of statements that were in an example of, like, questions that should be answered false by students. Like, maybe he's just functionally illiterate, and he doesn't actually understand that that's not what's going on.
We'd be doing a lot better and have more respect for him if he was functionally illiterate.
Yeah, look, I mean...
Unfortunately, it seems that he's actually bilingual.
Well, you can be bilingual, but also illiterate. Like, you can learn to speak a language without needing to be able to read it.
That's true.
Plus,
Be the case.
literacy comes in stages, right? And so he might be able to look
Right.
at a text in English and pronounce the words, but that's a different task than looking at a text in English and being able to actually
Reading
internalize the
comprehension. Yeah.
right. Because when
Yeah.
kids start to read, they can sound out words, but if you ask them, "Hey, what was that book about?" They'll be like, "I don't know." It's like, but you read it.
Dinosaurs.
It's like, yeah, but it was actually about the hungry caterpillar. There weren't any dinosaurs in it. Like, I don't care, it's dinosaur, and then they'll go play with their dinosaur toy.
Yep. And then they'll say they want to read their dinosaur book, and they're actually talking about the hungry caterpillar, so you better be paying attention.
All right, here we go.
What were we
He just
talking
said
about?
Jesus, apparently.
Oh, okay.
that if you believe that, you're a liar.
Oh.
He says, he does not know of anybody who are men of science, truthful men, that do not believe the exact opposite. 1867. Now, the person who wasn't truthful was actually Thomas.
But if somebody believes it's true and they say it, then they're definitively not lying.
Yeah,
they're just wrong.
So there is that. Yeah, you can be sincerely wrong. That's an option.
Drinking.
Well, I think what Huxley is trying to get to is that basically anyone who knows what they're talking about says that young Earth creationism is nonsense. And by the time he was writing it, that's right. Huxley was right about that. And so Lawrence is just complaining about the fact that he disagrees, which, like, yeah, we know you do, man.
Right.
But, like, so what? And of course, he just said that Huxley was the one who was lying. And I would love to find out how it is that Lawrence has come to the conclusion that Huxley not only was wrong, but knew that he was wrong when he said or wrote this.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Math Navigator for $2 says, the ability to speak does not make you intelligent. Thank you, Jar Jar. Well, thank you, Qui-Gon.
That was Qui-Gon who said that, yeah. Qui-Gon said that to Jar Jar, so realistically, we wouldn't have gotten that if Jar Jar wasn't there.
Man, imagine that world.
Yeah.
What a wonderful world it would be.
Not a wonderful world.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Why am I here? Why do you bring me to these?
I don't know. And lately I haven't been able to
thinks the world is wonderful.
And lately I haven't been able to get rid of you. I feel like you've been on this channel or I've been on yours almost every day.
You're stuck now.
Oh man. It's like we're sewed together at the hip.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Wasn't that a thing in American history or American Horror Story? Didn't two people get sewn together at the hips or something? What am I thinking of? That sounds like a thing. I think it was in Hotel.
Maybe.
That was the season that introduced Lady Gaga, I believe.
Good.
Yeah, it was a little odd. Like, she's not bad at acting, but she's clearly of a lower caliber than a lot of the other people. And it's like she's just here for the star power. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Huxley in this case, which was because it's not true at that point. The evolution was just getting off.
Your face isn't true.
But this is what he said.
Okay. But here's the problem, Florence. It's true that evolution was really only getting its feet under it at the point, and Huxley was a big proponent of evolution. But geology and faunal succession, as a result of paleontology, the fact that there have been many past epochs of Earth history during which different groups of organisms had been alive, and where, the flora and fauna looked more or less completely different, those were well-established facts by the time Darwin came around. Like, there wasn't any scientific debate about whether the Earth was a few thousand or whether it was, a few thousand years old or whether it was much older. Now, we didn't have the 4.4 or whatever 4.5 billion year estimate. Most estimates were that it was billions or tens of millions of years old. And that was based just on how much time it would take to deposit the evident sedimentary rocks on Earth. And so those were like minimum estimates. But like, we knew 6,000 wasn't in the running at this time. And we had known that for a very long time at that point, decades at least. So what Lawrence is doing is he's doing a little bit of bait and switch. He's like, well, see, evolution was only really just getting started. So therefore, we don't have to worry about the age of the Earth and faunal succession. Those are things that are tied to evolution, except that they're not. In fact, for a very long time before radiometric dating, geologists weren't willing to give as much time for the age of the Earth as evolutionary biologists would have liked to get all the evolution accomplished. There was actually tension. Geologists weren't ready to say that the Earth was that old, and biologists were like, no, the Earth has to be way old, you guys. And the geologists were like, okay, but we don't have evidence of that. And there was a little bit of a fight there. Of course, it turns out we got radiometric dating, and Wouldn't you know it? The biologist turned out to have been right. It's almost like evolution is real.
It's almost like we've been talking about and debating this for eons, it feels like.
Yeah. Let's see. Borg Emporia, who's been a member for 26 months and is at the amulet level, says, "You got something off your Amazon wish list. I hope it goes better than Borg Ducky I got FTFE that ended in a complete fiasco." Oh, yeah.
I drink for that fiasco, though. If there was ever a good fiasco, it was a good fiasco.
It was a really good fiasco. Oh, and I just saw what I'm getting. I will remind me, and I'll get back to you on how that is, because I'm curious about that one.
Oh, boy.
I mean, I'll spoil it if Borg Emporia is okay with me spoiling. But so basically I keep track on what has and hasn't been purchased, so that way if it's like if something weird happens with shipping, I can reach out and be like, "Hey, is everything okay?" Because what I don't want to have happen is for someone to spend money on a gift for me and then for it to just not show up. Like I would hate.
Mine has I've used Throne instead of Amazon, which is a little bit more expensive, but also not Jeff Bezos. So that's your trade-off. And I have it set so people can send me mystery gifts, and then the gifts don't have to be on my list. You can actually send me anything, but it has its own built-in tracker system. So you have to keep an eye on it. But other than that, it's pretty nice.
I like that. Also, there was a Godzilla and a gross pelagic tunic, but I'll drink for the Godzilla. Thank you very much, Borg Emporia. Oh, so Borg Emporia says, "Go ahead." It is some jalapeno spam.
Ooh, yeah.
Sounds pretty good.
I'm curious now too.
Yeah. Yeah. Just maybe I'll make some jalapeno spam musubi, or maybe I'll just put it in like a burrito. I don't know.
Said
or both,
and and so it becomes, and it actually, the age of the Earth undermines the faith to such an extent that it's the number one reason why we have lost whole denominations.
Is it? Are there whole denominations of Christianity that don't exist because evolution? Is that really true, Lawrence? I can't think of any, but then again, I'm not like the expert. You know who might know is there's a YouTube channel called Ready to Harvest that's basically just about going over different like Christian groups and talking about like what makes them distinct from other groups.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that guy would know. Yeah, I watch that channel every once in a while. It's pretty obvious that guy is himself a Christian. But I feel like you can enjoy that if you're just interested in what the diversity within Christianity is, regardless of your actual affiliation with Christianity.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. And the reason I say that, like, the channel is clearly geared towards Christians, and one of the ways that's very obvious is he puts up polls on his community tab, and the polls are almost always like, how much do you agree or disagree with this Christian theological statement that he's pulled from, like, some churches, like, official faith statement or something. And
right.
Like, yeah, that's a question that really only makes sense if you're asking an audience of Christians, but still, I mean, he goes into things like the full history of things, and like he does not really hold any punches. He'll be like, yeah, so this denomination of Baptists, or this assembly of Baptists broke away from the main group over here because they liked slavery. That's why. There are no theological differences. They just wanted to keep slaves. It's like, oh wow. That's great.
Cringe.
Yikes.
It's nice when people just say like what is actually going on out loud instead of beating around the bush.
Yeah. In fact, he actually just recently released a video that was just like denominations that exist because they liked slavery when the main denomination didn't. It's just like, oh goodness.
Brother.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking, like, imagine belonging to a church and then realizing that the only reason that your church exists was to be pro-slavery.
Yikes.
Oof.
Ugh.
Yeah. All right.
Feels bad.
It is the one key reason, and you'll see this as I go through, and it's vital. In 1896, there was a meeting between the Northern and Southern Presbyterians of North America. They got together to discuss the 6 days.
Okay.
Woodward, who was the president or the dean of...
Dude, no one cares. Just talk about the evidence. We're going to go through this entire episode, and at no point is he actually going to provide us a single bit of evidence that would indicate that the Earth is young, apart from just, it would be nice for certain Christians if it were. Which, yeah, okay, that's true.
We're never going to get there.
No, this is, you know what? This is like one of those dreams where, like, you're like in an airport or something, you're trying to get your flight, and no matter how many terminals you go through or how fast you run, you're never at the right terminal. And then like you get to the right gate or something, and they're like, "Oh, there's been a gate change. You're now on the other side of the airport." So you start
like
running.
playing 100 levels of Mario and finding out your princess is another castle at the end.
Exactly like that. Goop23 for $5 says, "I think we lost most of them because of evolution." He means they accept evolution, so now I treat them as they're basically Satanists. That could actually be what he means. Yeah, like they no longer count as Christians anymore because they decided to accept the evils of evolution.
Oh.
Lieutenant Math Navigator for $2 says, "Evolution killed the Albigensians." I was not ready for an Albigensians reference today. Oh, jeez. Oh, that's awesome. Zero One says, "Why are you describing Dallas Airport?" Oh, right. So when I went to that wedding that I was talking about earlier, I had to fly into Dallas for a connecting flight.
Yeah.
I finally got to my destination over 24 hours late.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. I think I was keeping you like aware of what was going on. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
rough.
on the horn being like, "Yo, that sucks."
Yeah. There was one point where I was getting flight delay emails like every 10 to 15 minutes and just screenshotting them and sending them off to Chesh. And she's like, "What the hell, dude? You just got one." Like, yep.
What is going on?
Eventually I got them to just get me a hotel room. I was like, "No, just give me a hotel room. I'm gonna pay for a lift." And then what was it? As I got out of the lift, I said to the driver, like, "Gracias por todos," because it was very clear that he didn't speak English. And that dude got so excited. Amigo! And I'm like, "Yeah, I gotta get out of here. Bye."
Okay, bye.
But like he was like bouncing in his seat, and he was like, the guy said it's Spanish.
Cute.
And I was like, "Oh,
that's adorable."
I mean,
and like decent Spanish.
Yeah, well, clearly the guy who was talking in English on his phone most of the car ride and who was in his human suit, which looks very, very gringo, was not someone he was expecting to speak like okay-ish Spanish.
You're right, yeah.
All right, here we go.
Harvard, I believe. He claimed he was a minister as well as an amateur geologist, and he claimed no, those are thousands of years, millions of years, I mean. And Dabney said, no.
I just want to point out, what you're now being told is a story about how you, in fact, can be a Christian. In fact, Christian clergy, and still do science and, like, actually be a part of the academic community and, like, add to the sum total of human scientific knowledge.
Truly magical.
But he's saying that as if that's a bad thing. That's the part that gets me. Here's Lawrence telling you about a pastor who's adding to scientific knowledge. He was like, "What a loser."
He said, "The only reason you accept..."
Falaco Leon Kennedy says, "Why does Tisdall sound drunk?" I'm going to go ahead and say that this is an English as a second language thing, and that it's just that his pronunciation is a little... because his first language is in fact French. And he doesn't sound like he has a French accent. I think that's because he's practiced. But he clearly is not an English, like, L1 speaker.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and say that that's the case. I don't think he's drunk. I guess I can't prove that he's not drunk. I wasn't there. I'm not going to take, like, a breathalyzer test for him or something. Or have him take a breathalyzer test. I guess that makes more sense. Yeah. If I took a breathalyzer test for him, that would test me, which isn't useful. Because it'll just say, yeah, Dapper's drunk.
Those millions of years is the following.
Unless it's broken.
Well, yeah. And I was just reminded of Josh, have you ever heard of the Creatures games? 1, 2, 3 docking station. There's a couple kids games. So they were sort of like a cross between like an artificial life simulator and like a pet simulator, right?
Okay.
So you had a bunch of little creatures called Norns that you're supposed to take care of and teach them how to be good Norns in the world and teach them what to eat, how to do things. You could teach them English to some extent. It was very obviously a very, 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 very simplified version of English, but whatever.
Right.
And there was a guy who went by Anti-Norn who did quote-unquote Norn torture But
Oh.
the thing is that it's less that he did that and more that he just rewrote the genetics for the Norn because they had a genome that could mutate when they made it and whatnot to just do things to make the Norn seem miserable. And then he would just upload that Norn to a file so you could download it. And one of the things that he did was he made it so that their bodies constantly produced alcohol just out of the blue so that they were always drunk and on the edge of like alcohol poisoning.
That sounds rough.
Yeah. And so people were like, what did he do to this thing? It's like, it's literally genetically engineered to just be like that. He went in and he edited the text file that holds the genome, and then he saved it, and then he hatched that, and that's what you just downloaded. Like, this isn't like an actual regular Norn that you get from like the game's internal files. Like, he did this to troll you. It's very obvious.
That's the joke.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss those games. I think the last one came out for Windows 95. That's how old that series is. We need a spiritual successor to the creatures games, complete with cute creatures and spaceships and what. Because the last one was set on a spaceship.
Science appears to have replaced the Word of God as the authority of determined truth.
I want to translate
No, philosophy has.
Science is a branch of philosophy.
Yes, that's why I'm saying it's philosophy.
Okay, fair enough.
Philosophy it's mostly philosophy that's doing that, and theology is part of philosophy. So theology is still having conversations about what is and is not true, and is not 100% definitive.
But also, I want to translate what he just said here. On the one hand, the thing that depends on evidence and testability and actually admits when it's wrong, that has replaced our confidence in terms of what's true. And the thing it has replaced is some books some people that you don't know about wrote. Way back when.
Yeah.
I can see why you would have higher confidence in the thing with the evidence rather than the thing without the evidence. I don't know.
Lieutenant Matt the Navigator said said he made dwarves?
Yeah, basically. Yep. Actually, the original Creatures game had some of the best tools for things like genetic engineering and digging into like the actual, like you could watch your Norn's neural net in real time as it made decisions about what to do. You could see what is it looking at, what neurons are connecting, and actually for the time, like the original thing was really like the original Creatures game, not 1 or 2, was released in like the 80s, and it still had one of the a more sophisticated neural net than most enemy AIs in most games are using, and it would use machine learning in the 80s. To learn what kinds of things to do, like what kinds of things to eat versus what kinds of things not to eat, and whether to approach or flee from various different types of creatures and whatnot. And you could see it learning in real time. I was like, that's cool. Damn, for the 80s, that's a big deal. Annoying Newsletter, who's been a member for 29 months, says, ordained scenes fit in there somehow too, with a shrug emoji. Oh, raw Matt. The ordained scene. Because there's nothing like being ordained into a sect that no longer exists and that never did ordinations back when they existed.
Magical, truly.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Next time I play D&D, I'm going to say that my character is an ordained Netherese. I've been ordained as Netherese. Just because, it's that empire that doesn't really exist anymore. That didn't ordain people as members, because that's not how being a member of an empire works.
I like it.
Yeah.
He says it's explained this way. This happens because of our depraved mind and the exaltation of naturalism.
Hey, Lawrence.
Big words, spooky language.
Lawrence, stop looking at my search history. I want my depraved mind. How dare you, sir?
Stop, don't.
Not as bad as Chesh's search history, though.
Nothing's as bad as my search history.
That's true.
You have to work pretty hard.
Yeah. You gotta start early.
Science has become the new religion. Scientists are the...
I mean, it's not, though, because science doesn't carry with it any kind of moral code. It doesn't have a sacred versus profane distinction. It doesn't have any particular rituals that are really associated with it, unless you count, like, graduation ceremonies or, like, award ceremonies for scientific awards. But, like, I don't think that anyone really count that. Most people don't see accepting science as a core part of their identity, which is not the case for religion. there isn't really a community built around it that's just there because that's their community. Like, it doesn't really meet any of the definitions for what a religion is. And I want to point out, one of the things I didn't put in there are any particular required or prohibited beliefs, because that's actually not terribly important to whether something's a religion. Lieutenant Math Navigator for $10 says, almost as dumb as trying to Uno reverse a peer review failure. Oh, Richard Carey. Oh, you poor guy.
Oh, there's so many references.
Yeah. Richard Carey with his little like blurb on his blog about his most recent book, like, well, actually, because this book failed peer review, but because I disagree with the peer reviewers, it actually passed peer review if you think about it. Okay.
Oh, I don't want to think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's some
I don't want to think about it if you're talking
level.
if you're talking about it like that. I don't want to think.
Yeah. Also, hey,
you're asking too much.
Hey, Richard, pro tip. If you're trying to defend yourself from allegations of sexual abuse, maybe don't submit to a court filings in which you admit to abusing people sexually. Just throwing that out there.
Probably don't do that.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna work against.
Or I mean, do, because I'm happy to now know that you're an admitted sex pest rather than just an accused sex pest, right?
It's pretty cringe, bro.
Yeah.
New priests. If I walk out here with a lab coat, I am now a pronouncer of truth. And
no, you're just a person who's misusing PPE.
Yep.
That's it. You're just a guy misusing PPE. I hate when people just wear lab coats for no reason. It's like, that's not how anything works. You don't just wear a lab coat because you're a scientist. That's personal protective equipment. You wear it in a lab where there's dangerous stuff that might spill on you and you don't want it to get onto your skin or your regular clothing. Lab coats aren't just a uniform for a scientist, man.
you will believe me.
No, Lawrence, I won't, because I've known too many people wearing lab coats who lied to me. A lot of them were creationists standing in labs that weren't being used, particularly in the science center for AIG, where they have their homeschool kids come in and do chemistry experiments. I've seen guys standing there in a lab coat, despite the fact that all the burners are off, all the sinks are off, there are no beakers of chemicals around, and they're telling me about a chicken skeleton.
And then they're using that lab coat to bring through an air of authority to lie to children. It's almost like, no, you.
Yep. This is one of those every accusation is a confession kind of situations.
Yeah, remember who he's talking to right now. He thinks that the people he's talking to will believe this.
Oh, fearmonger, the coelacanth says. But Dapper, according to Vice Rhino, he's really sorry, so it's okay. Oh, well, is that all it takes, huh? I mean, look, I'm not going to say that you can't turn a new leaf and decide that your previous bad behavior was in fact bad, and then go on to change your behavior. Like, that's a thing you can do. But I do not actually believe that Richard Carrier has done that, because he strikes me as a profoundly self-centered individual who does not actually have real remorse for the things he's done, because quite frankly, he wouldn't do most of the things he currently does if he was actually that. So, yeah.
Right.
Like, just making shit up about ancient Judaism that just isn't anywhere in evidence, and just being like, yeah, well, I read it in the text. You mean the text written in a language you can't read there, Richard? Read that in there? Okay.
That one's so funny to me.
Yeah, because remember, Richard Carrier...
It makes me laugh.
Can't read Hebrew.
That one gets me every time.
It's true. If I walk out here with if I walk outside with a Bible, no one will believe me.
I mean, it's not true that no one will believe you, Lawrence, because the people who
depends on what you say.
Church, right. Also, the people who are in this church sometimes are outside of the church, and they might believe you. Right?
Go figure.
Because it turns out that there's lots of different
people don't believe Tisdall because he's just a bad liar.
Well, I mean,
he's not good at it. You know what I mean? Like
that is also a distinct possibility. I don't think we're gonna get to the super chat goal, Chesh. Sorry. Exactly.
If I walk out with a lab coat, everybody will believe me.
I'm funny.
That is the new truth. Remember, religion against religion, faith against faith.
Yeah, except one of those things isn't about faith. It's about evidence and testability, falsifiability, and hypothesis testing, and all those things, Lawrence. Whereas, when was the last time you tested a hypothesis on the basis of empirical evidence within theology, Lawrence? When did that happen? I don't think it did.
So if you exalt naturalism to the equal or above the Bible, and this is a dangerous thing because there are
When he says naturalism, what he means is evidence. I want everyone to remember that.
Christians that say, and it started with Francis Bacon, who wasn't exactly an exemplary Christian.
Mavis Bacon.
Lawrence, I don't think the idea of using evidence from the real world to inform your theology started with Francis Bacon. Mostly because I can point to people like Thomas Aquinas and Augustine of Hippo who did it before Francis Bacon was ever conceived. So I'm just going to take a drink for like, Francis Bacon is the first person to think evidence was more important than your theology. No, he wasn't.
Let's go.
But it started with him who said, there are two books. There's the book of the Bible and the book of nature, and they both are equal in importance.
Scoop23 for $5 says, if I walk around with a Bible, no one will believe me. Western Christians want to be oppressed so bad. It's true. It's true. You know,
Yeah.
Lawrence, if you really want to be oppressed, but like the pretendy kind of oppressed that it seems like you're actually craving, you can hire a dominatrix. You just go do it.
It's true.
I think what's actually happening is just, you know, Lawrence's thinly veiled kink. And like, if you need someone to step on you while wearing stilettos, you can find that person. She'll do it.
It's true.
Excuse me? No? They're not equal in importance.
Yeah, the one that isn't about evidence is more important to Lawrence, because Lawrence wants to be wrong.
Stop, sir, in the name of the law.
Nature is the result of the Creator, and it's
If there's a creator, Lawrence, that's true. But there being a creator doesn't necessitate that that creator is well described by the Bible. That's a thing that you're forgetting, right? Maybe we're all actually living in Brahma's dream. Or maybe it's Azathoth's dream. I don't know. But like, those
I've
are
heard
at
that
least
we live in a
possibilities.
society, but I remain unconvinced.
We don't. We're all just hermits.
Yeah.
I was actually saying, I think to Vishanti the other day, you know what? I'd be okay with being a hermit as long as I get high-speed internet. Like, if we could hook up...
Oh, same.
Like-
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, I actually want, like, if we could hook up high-speed internet to, like, St. Anthony's Cave in Egypt, I would go live in that cave. I don't even care.
I'm low-key already doing that.
Yeah, I am a little bit. A neighbor came by, and I didn't recognize the neighbor, and I asked if he was selling something. He was like, no, I think a package accidentally got delivered to you. It's like, oh yeah, that did happen. Here you go.
Oh yeah, there are people that live here that aren't me.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's almost always some kind of solicitor, and I'm so sick of solicitors that from now on, I
That's
think I'm
fair.
just going to ask them, hey, you selling anything? And if the answer is yes, I'm just going to close the door. I just don't care. Does it count as being a hermit if you have the internet? I say yes. And here's my defense of this, right? Generally speaking,
Okay.
people think of stylites as hermits. And yet, stylites talk to people all the time. That was like one of their big things. People would just come by, hoist them up some like bread and cheese and dried meat or something, and then be like, oh, guy on the pillar, I have a question. And then he'd be like, okay, yeah, sure, what's your question? And then he would give his wisdom, or her wisdom. There were female stylites too. So if stylites count as hermits, which I would argue they do, historically, then I
Okay.
would say that living on your own and being a shut-in counts as being a hermit, which also means that like the hikikomori from Japan, they are hermits, in my opinion.
I
hermits.
think that I agree with this specifically because I think hermit is about your lifestyle, not necessarily about your communication level.
Also, I think that Christianity needs to bring back stylites. So Christians, get on that. Some of you should just decide to live on top of a pillar for decades, for the rest of your lives. Just live on a pillar. Have people hand you food, ask you questions, and you can poop off the side of the pillar.
Go for it.
Yep.
Sounds like fun to me.
fallen. So you're not going to get all the right message by looking at nature. You're going to get some of the message. You want the right message, you go to the Bible. That's the authority.
I love that it's so... He's just being so blatant that the only way you can actually believe in anything he's saying is if you arbitrarily decide that this book that he doesn't actually take as authoritative, because he picks and chooses just like everyone else does. But if you decide that that gets to overrule your lying eyes, it's literally just who you're going to believe, the Bible or your lying eyes. Actually, my lying eyes, sir, because I'm pretty sure they're not lying.
Actually, maybe. What if?
Actually, when it became like known that I wasn't a creationist anymore, I was still going to that same church that was a creationist church. Every once in a while there were conversations that came up about that because obviously it was a thing. Like, oh, Tim doesn't believe in young Earth creationism anymore. Yep.
Oh, sure, yeah.
True. And one of them was like, but it says this in the Bible. I was like, look, what if the Bible said that the sky was purple and that 2 + 2 = 5? I was like, well, I would believe that. Well, that's dumb, and I'm not going to do that. I don't know what to tell you. But if your interpretation of the Bible is obviously something that's not true based on just reality, then it's not true. Either figure out a new interpretation of the Bible or just accept the Bible's wrong about that.
It kind of has to be that way, doesn't it?
Let's see. Babaton says, but wouldn't that work only in a warm climate? Can they have sheds on the pillars, heating, insulation? So, generally, stylites did exist in warm climates. They generally existed in the Eastern Mediterranean or in Egypt. I don't know that I've ever heard of like a Russian or like a German stylite. It's pretty much always in like modern like Turkey, Jordan, Israel, Palestine, Egypt, places like that. But those are still places you can go. Christians, go to Egypt, be a stylite. Just do it. Olivia Williams, Purple Fairy, who's been a member for 44 months, says, they are so 1984 like MAGA about Minnesota shooting. Yeah, no, it's literally just, why would you believe the evidence of your eyes when there's a narrative that you could believe instead?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, but I in the entire world just watched a woman get murdered. And you're telling me that that wasn't a murder, that was self-defense from the guy who was in no danger whatsoever, who shot her 3 times in a moving vehicle, which wouldn't have stopped the moving vehicle anyway, and who could have just, I don't know, stepped back, even if it were headed for him, because it was turning away from him. And it's like, nope, it was totally justified self-defense. In fact, we're gonna investigate her wife for terrorist ties. Oh, that I don't know if you heard about that, Chesh, but now her widow is under investigation by the DOJ.
Yeah, because the situation wasn't bad enough.
That's absolute truth. And
no.
So
I'm just gonna take a drink for its absolute truth.
Yeah, we drink for absolute truth. You don't know that.
This book that doesn't always even agree with itself is absolute truth. Not even logically possible, Lawrence.
you can see where we're going here. Now, what happened to the Presbyterians was this. And this
Oh yeah, I forgot we were even talking about Presbyterians.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to be talking about the age of the earth.
this was all about the age question, all about the 6-day creation. The Northern Presbyterians
that kind
said,
of a prediction?
Sure, why not? I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
Me saying that doesn't mean y'all can slide into my DMs. Not that kind of thirsty. I know what you're thinking. Out there.
Sure.
Keep it in the fanfic section.
going with Woodward, and we're not accepting that. And so Genesis, therefore, becomes what? Genesis becomes a poem, sort of poetry.
I mean, it's not a poem, but like whatever, sure. It can be figurative, Lawrence. I think that's the word you're looking for. It's figurative.
That has some moral implications. Of course, what happens to Genesis 3:15? The serpent? The first prophecy about Jesus?
Lawrence, this is not a prophecy about Jesus. It's an etiology for why humans don't like snakes.
Or women.
Well, I mean, it's more broad than that, but yeah, I guess it could be about why women don't like snakes, but most men don't either. So.
No, I meant why people don't like women.
Oh! No, that didn't actually need an etiology. That was just unquestioned truth back then. It's like, women, gross. I like that just assumed misogyny is the thing that breaks Chesh today.
That's so funny.
What happened? Is that an analogy?
Yes, Lawrence. It's not literal. There was no literal snake that talked to Eve, who wasn't a literal person, and then got her to eat literal fruit from a literal tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
This man's not. Like, we've already got to. He might be functionally illiterate. He doesn't know what an analogy is.
Where do you stop? Where does it stop being an analogy? How about the global flood?
Yep, that's also a thing that didn't happen. Lawrence, I'm gonna give you a clue, right?
He's gonna keep naming things that are actually like alliteration.
take Genesis, Joshua. Actually, not just Genesis. Take the Torah and Joshua, and just say, except for the bare existence of Balaam, for whom we actually do have some archaeological evidence, the rest of it just didn't happen. None of it's true. There was no Moses, there was no Abraham, there was no Seth, there was no Noah, there was no Cain, there was no Abel, there was no Adam, there was no Joseph, there was no Ham, Shem. None of these people are real.
Bendigo.
Well, not likely real, but at least existing in a time and place that was real, so like, at least could be real, in the running for being real.
One that might count. Unbelievable.
So yeah, basically, except for Balaam, until you get to Kings and Chronicles, you can just assume that the entirety of it is just ahistorical. And when you get to Kings and Chronicles, we know a lot of it's legendary, because a lot of it contradicts itself, and a lot of it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Also, who killed Goliath? Was it David, or was it Elhanan, like it says earlier? I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Then when you finally get into the exilic period, you start getting things that are more likely to be at least broadly historical. And especially when you get to the post-exilic period, where you get to things like the reforms of King Josiah. We know that happened. We know that there was actually centralization of the cult in what's now Israel, or what was then Israel, I don't know, whatever, into Jerusalem, and that there were new law scrolls that were quote-unquote uncovered, which probably means composed then and there. That's when we really start to get into historical things. And you know how we make that determination, Lawrence? It's called evidence. We have evidence for the reforms of King Josiah. We have evidence against the literal existence of a flood or Moses. So we know those things didn't happen, whereas we know with pretty good confidence that Josiah was a real dude. Eric Gotcher for 499 says, reject evidence. Consensus is conspiracy. Trust only the prophet's measurement. Trust only the prophet's measurement is fallible. Abandon induction. Yes, that is basically what he's going for. All right. Joshua Geese for $5 says, if ham wasn't real, then where's my sandwich? Good question.
Yay!
You ask a good question. All right. So we're going to start wrapping things up here. Chesh, what do you got you want to tell people about that's coming up for you?
My day's off tomorrow, so I'll be live on Thursday. I'm doing art on Twitch, so come and join that. It's a lot of fun. We do a lot of goofy things. We do a lot of cursed art. It's a good time. I've been working on TSA Snorlax.
Oh, no.
Snorlax blocking an airport. It's very funny, and I definitely recommend checking it out. I have Dumbfuck Friday on Fridays after Top Hats Off, after we play Star Trek. Except this Friday will be Volcano Show, and Kilauea is currently erupting, so if you're interested in learning about volcanoes with a volcanologist and an engineer and a goblin, come and join us there. That's on Debate Hub. Other than that, that's about everything. I cook now on stream sometimes, so come and join for that. It's a good time.
All right. Let's see what's going on over here. So on Thursday, we've got a video coming out. It is my talk with Jackson Wheat and Inspiring Philosophy.
Hooray!
Now, I want to say something. This is a talk that occurred before Aspiring Philosophy came out defending a pedophile.
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
So that will not be addressed in there because it couldn't be. And also, that was a talk that happened before that. So, yeah, if you come to me and be like, oh, didn't you know this guy decided to defend David Wood and his admitting to being a pedophile? I'm going to say, like, I did know that, but only when it happened, which is, long after this talk.
Not at the time.
So, yeah, because it hadn't happened at the time. So, now you know that I did not know about that. Because it hadn't happened. Because no one knew about it. Because, again, it hadn't happened yet. Anyway, So that's going to be at noon Pacific, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Then on, let's see, that's Thursday. Then on Friday, the plan right now is Star Trek Adventures at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. That'll be on Top Hats Off with Chesh. A whole bunch of other people will be there too. So come hang out for that. Then on Saturday, I'll be back for Dapper Reacts. We're continuing with our Signs and Wonders and Fat Ass Dog Emperor stream, where they just refuse to understand anything about what they're talking about. Yeah, where they confuse the evolution of the post-anal tail with the evolution of the anus itself, which is a running theme here, oddly enough. Yeah.
I'm gonna finish my drink while we're still here.
That's fair. So yeah, that's Saturday, and then of course next Tuesday the plan is Matt with Maddie. I have to double check with Maddie, but I'm pretty confident that she'll want to be there because Maddie really likes Matt. So even though I subject her to raw Matt.
I mean, you still hang with me, and I brought this goof.
True. This is your fault. This is not my fault. All right. Well, everybody, after this, I'm going to be heading over to my Discord. We're going to be watching some Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle, which is the second of the Godzilla anime trilogy from Netflix. So if you want to do that, come hang out. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Either way, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope you stay safe out there. And furthermore, ICE must be abolished because they're fucking murderers.
Hey, before you leave, I just want to take a second to thank my patrons and channel members, especially those pledging $20 or above.
Ben Tovand, Tapioca Weasel, Sphincter of Doom, Regios, Landon Knoll, Ian Chen, Elleron Teller, Phil Rivara, Kelvin Brostick Van Manen, David Hercules, Joshua Geese, Dan Sheedy, Pegajace, The Plastic Mouse, Arrow Dodger, Gordon Love Science, Trixie Purple, Agricola Sequa, S. Kenneth Swenson, Edwin M., Lance Hall, and John Ackerman.
It's because of my channel members and patrons whom you're seeing on screen that this channel can stay afloat. Without you, it would all shut down. If you want to join the team, there's a link to join the channel below this video, and there's a link to join the Patreon in the description. On the Patreon, you can get a 15% discount for pledging annually, and either way, you get early access to virtually all of my scripted videos months before they come out for the general public. Thanks for watching.